every year, this is the hardest thing I have to do next to the top 25 under 25 because I always manage to forget somebody on the list. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, folks, it's prospect pyramid time. And let me put it this way. One, I'm going to apologize for one thing and one thing only. My handwriting is bad enough as is, and putting it on a whiteboard is not going to do me any favors. It's never been very good, so I apologize for that. I'll do my best to look at this and explain my methodology. And when it came right down to it, I consulted the Oracle on most things. And by Oracle, I mean I asked Carey Price, who wanted me to rank all goalies in the top part of this pyramid. I'm not going to do that, Carey. I'm sorry. You go sit over there. Anyways, so I'm borrowing this idea from everyone's favorite Leafs maniac, Steve Dangle. I believe he came up with this last year or 2 years ago. And what I'm going to do, after I readjust this light a little bit, is go over our prospect pyramid here. And what we've got is your top tier prospects, your second tier but still very good, your likelies but not superstars, your wild cards, and then everybody else down here. So, there we go. So where we're going to start, we're going to start right at the top here. And to no one's surprise, the number one prospect on my board, and I'm sure on many other people's, is Jesperi Kotkaniemi, the Finnish centerman, who was the third overall pick in the 2018 the NFL draft. That'd be amazing. Kid's a superstar everywhere. NHL draft this past year. And there's a little bit of method to my madness on this too. As you'll see off to the side below the top there, I have Victor Mete, Nikita Sherbak, and Charlie Lindgren's names written off to the side. They're still considered prospects, but Sherbak's going into his fourth NHL season. Victor Mete was a top pairing NHL defenseman last year, and Lindgren's entering his third professional season. They're prospects under 25, but they're also have enough pro experience that I don't feel comfortable including them directly in this list, I guess. It's why you don't see Max Domi and you don't see Jonathan Drouin on here, because they're under 25. They were prospects at one point, but they're regular NHL players at this point. There really isn't much more that needs to be said about Kotkaniemi's name. He's the top prospect in the system. He is the potential center of the future. He's got skills for days. Everyone knows exactly what he's capable of. The next level below that, I have Noah Juleson, Ryan Poehling, and in a new surprise, thanks to the Max Pacioretty trade, Nick Suzuki. And in there you have Juleson, who became an NHL quality defenseman this year after missing the first part of the year with an injury. Ryan Poehling is an absolutely fantastic two-way center at St. Cloud State in the NCAA. And Nick Suzuki is a phenomenal 200-foot player in the OHL for the Owen Sound Attack. Back-to-back 40-goal seasons, back-to-back 95-plus point seasons. He is one of those guys that in the future, even if all three of them don't line up as centers but are on the roster, Kotkaniemi, Poehling, and Suzuki all in one line or all in your forward core is a good problem to have. Poehling is definitely up the side, even though he might not. He and Juleson kind of remind the same thing. They're not going to always be the flashiest and biggest point getters. Like if you think of it this way, Suzuki and Mete are the parallels to Juleson and Poehling. Poehling and Juleson are steady, and they're not going to load up on points, but coaches love them. And scouts and coaches I've talked to about Ryan Poehling over the past couple of years at events rave about his ability, and they absolutely love him. And I think that's something Habs fans should be extremely excited for. The next tier here, which is a little bit bigger, which is your likelies, but not for sure. Off to the side, I have Joni Ikonen with a little medical sign next to him. He has a knee injury. He's out until December. His position could fluctuate in here depending on how he's doing. So what we have is Jesse Ylönen, Jacob Olofsson, Josh Brook, Cale Fleury, Jake Evans. And this is where there might be a little bit of debate, because these are two guys that I really like, but some people might have lower. Cam Hillis and Alan McShane from the 2018 draft class. Lucas Vedamo, Alexander Romanov, the Tsar. You should read a lot about him over at EOTP. Patrick's doing an amazing job on covering him. Will Bitton, and then Caden Primo and Michael McNiven. I couldn't really decide which way to go with this. And then off to the right again, I have David Sklenichka and Michael Moravacek, the two Czech defenders that Montreal signed in the offseason. And I think the biggest thing with them is they're a wild card. If they turn out great, guess what? We've got 2 more capable defenders under 25 years old on the roster. They both play on the right side, left side. I'll have to look at the EOTP depth chart, but either way, they have every ability to try and make the team this year with injuries, and depending on if people are being traded in and out again. So, Ylönen is that speedy, high-skill winger. He played in the 2nd division, I believe, or the junior division in Finland last year. He's going to be a big fan favorite. When he gets the puck, he is gone. He is a rocket on skates, and that should excite fans. Jacob Olofsson is someone that his coach, even at a young age, he is their go-to pivot down the middle. He takes the tough face-offs. He plays the heavier minutes for his teams. Even if his club isn't one of the elite in the league, in the SHL right now, there's a reason why they got where they are, and he's a big part of that. He could become one of those very useful defensive centermen in the future for Montreal. Josh Brook and Cale Fleury. Brook, I don't think I've made it a secret. Josh Brook is one of my favorite prospects. Just like with Palin, when I've gone to events, scouts have loved the pick of Josh Brook. They've raved about his ability. Like, he's going to be an NHL player. He might not be a superstar, but he is going to be an NHL player, and he's going to be solid on the blue line for years to come. Cale Fleury is someone who went from kind of a relative unknown playing in a very bad team in Kootenay to joining the Regina Pats, and now he's been able to shine, not having to carry the offense, the defense, the power play, the penalty kill on his back. He's been able to grow into his game and become more effective in those roles. He was already very good, but now he is on another level for that. And because of his age, he could play professional hockey this year in either the NHL or AHL, and he has every chance to try and push for a right shot spot with Shea Weber out injured to start the year. Even if he is gone after Weber comes back and he goes down to the AHL, that's a good thing that you have a prospect who's 19, he'll be 20 in, I believe, the end of the year, who is stepping in and able to play those minutes, even not Weber's minutes in particular. God, I hope not, because I mean, Jeff Petrie was abducted by aliens or something, who knows. But he's someone that fans should be excited about in the future. Jake Evans, hopefully he's recovering from his concussion in the rookie tournament all right. Was a scary moment. He's someone that is going to be a big player in the AHL for Joël Bouchard's team. He blossomed at the University of Notre Dame, and he's going to be he's a good playmaker, he's a good point producer. He's someone that I think fans are really going to love there as well. Below him, Lucas Vedemo. Imagine Jacob Delarose with a little bit more offense to it and a little bit more consistency. Vedemo was a 3rd-round pick, and I believe it was 2014. And he's grown and grown over in, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his team name because I'm going to offend the entirety of Sweden if I do so. But he's grown, and then he signed a contract and is going to be coming over this year. And out of everyone at the rookie tournament, I think he was one of the most impressive guys. He was noticeable forechecking in the neutral zone, in the defensive zone, using his stick, using positioning to keep guys to the outside and doing whatever he could to help out his team. And I think that's a huge deal going forward. Hillison McShane. If we're talking about good drafts, the 2018 draft was a slam dunk for centerman. Cam Hillis is an outstanding playmaker, and Alan McShane is growing into a solid all-around point producer for Oshawa. Both of them, they're not guarantees even to be centers, but are definitely guys in the system that are going to be valuable down the road. Below that, Alexander Romanov is probably the most intriguing prospect in the Montreal system right now. Not much is really known about him, but he's playing around anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes a night in the KHL for CSKA Moscow, which is which is probably the most storied club in the league. And even if he's not playing a ton of minutes, he's 18 years old and playing in the KHL as a defenseman, and he doesn't look out of place in any way, shape, or form. I think that's a very positive sign. He's mobile, he's good with the puck, he's got a ridiculous slap shot, and he loves to play physically. He's someone, when World Juniors rolls around, that I think a lot of fans are going to get their first taste of seeing him, and I think they're going to be really excited with what they find there. Below him is Will Bitton, who is my pick to be the new fan favorite in Laval this year. He is Brendan Gallagher light. He's got speed, he doesn't quit. He might not be the biggest guy out on the ice, but he's going to go flying in there and try and make plays happen as best he can. And then Primo McNiven, I had to flip a coin. Caden Primo had a fantastic rookie year, or freshman year at Northeastern in the NCAA, while Michael McNiven struggled behind a disastrous Laval Rocket lineup after a ridiculous final year in the OHL. Again, I consulted the goalie, and he said both. So I'm not one to argue with Carey Price for too long. So McNiven could very well skyrocket up this if he has a rebound year. And based on his performance at the rookie tournament, where he played well. It's just the team around him kind of struggled a little bit. I think we're going to be okay there. In net, it's Carey Price, Lindgren, McNiven, Primo, and they're probably going to pull some junior all-star out of an undrafted scrap heap like they've done the past couple years. So on to the next level. Again, you'll see I have a little thing written off here to the right, terribly, because writing with dry erase markers is terrible. Michael McCarron, Hunter Shinkaruk, and Renat Valiev. Older guys, still considered prospects, but then they're kind of on their last stand here, so to speak. McCarron just signed a new 1 year, 2-way deal. Shinkaruk came over in the Kirby Ryko trade. Valiev re-signed after being acquired from Toronto in the Tomas Plekanec trade, which is still a weird sentence to say out loud. So Shinkaruk's looking for that fresh start. It worked well for Ryko here last year. We're hoping Shinkaruk can find that 90-point guy that he was in the WHL. As for McCarron, we're looking for any signs of life in his offense at this point. It's show people that you are still a prospect worth caring about. And as for Valiev, he's not the flashiest guy in the world, but he's consistent, and that's what Leafs fans said about him. He's not ever going to blow you away. He might be a third-pairing guy in the NHL, top-pairing AHL guy. It's basically Zach Redmond, and anyone who remembers the Ice Caps remember just how important Zach Redmond was to that team. All right, we got 2 more things to go, but first, caffeine. No, this isn't a paid advertisement. It's just what was in my fridge. Going to the next level, I have Daniel Audette, Jeremiah Addison, Jarrett Tishka, Cole Fonstad, Brett Lernout, and Jordan Harris. Audette's in the final year of his entry-level contract. He's had consistency issues with the Rocket and with the Ice Caps. He'll have weeks and months where he is just an absolute monster of a player overall, and then he'll just vanish for a little while, or he'll be injured, or he'll go 39 games without scoring a goal. But he's got the skill to still be an impact prospect and have the ability to do great things in the future if he can find that consistency or find that level to his game. Otherwise, with how deep the system is getting, he's one of those guys that's going to kind of get lost up in it. Jeremiah Addison was a tough one. He lost his entire rookie year pretty much to a shoulder injury suffered in the rookie tournament last year, but he was one of those guys for Windsor, the Spitfires, when they hosted the Memorial Cup and then won it. He was one of their key guys. He's not going to be a superstar goal scorer, but he is going to be crash and bang, get you some dirty goals, go to the right spots. He's going to be a fan and coach favorite, and I think that's going to endear him well to someone like Bouchard and to fans, because he gives it all out there, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get some goals on the board. Jarrett Tishka is actually our prospect guy, David St. Louis. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, David, you can yell at me afterwards. If I'm not, cool. Tishka has grown from being a guy with some mobility and defensive skill in Seattle to their top pairing defenseman. He's got decent offensive numbers and instincts, and he's grown his defensive game using his stick and positioning better now. He also, unfortunately, was the victim of one of the most disgusting cheap shots I've ever seen, where he was cross-checked headfirst into the end boards by Hudson Ilyanuk, a Maple Leafs prospect on an AHL deal in the second game of the rookie tournament. He's in concussion protocol, but he's out of the hospital. We're hoping that there's no major lasting impact for that with his regular season about to start in Seattle. So Cole Fonstad is a Prince Albert Raider. He's a smallish playmaking center. I have him a little bit higher because I like the idea of having as many possible centermen as in this system as we can. It's like imagine getting a bunch of free spins on a slot machine. You're not going to win on all of them, but you're going to hit on something. There's no way that you can't, if that makes any sense. So he's someone that to keep an eye on out there. He could have a breakout year playing for the Raiders. So everyone's favorite, most divisive prospect, Brett Lernout. He's big. He's got some mobility, but the offense isn't there. And it could have just been Laval last year, but I just didn't see it as an NHL quality defenseman. I'm happy to be proven wrong on this. He's got the physicality, the skating, and the size to make things happen. I just don't see it right now, so I don't know. And then Jordan Harris. I have Harris up here again because I'm a little bit biased because I'm a big fan of how he plays. He's a mobile puck-moving defenseman. He's going to go into Northeastern. He's going to play a good chunk of minutes there. And quite frankly, I think that's all that needs to be said. He's a wild card. If he turns out, great. If he doesn't, oh well, it happens, you know. And now for everyone's favorite part, the rest. I'm just going to list all these guys off. Michael Pezzetta is probably going to be the Jeremy Gregoire of the Rocket this year. He's physical. He's got a little bit of scoring touch, but he's a little bit of a loose cannon sometimes, so that could hurt him. Underneath him, Scott Walford was injured, didn't play in the rookie tournament. Not much to say there. Alexander Alain, he was one of the top scorers in the QMJHL last year as an overager playing for Blainville-Boisbriand, the Armada, Joel Bouchard's team. I don't know. He could be a star under Bouchard in the AHL, or he could just be one of those guys who kind of gets lost to, space there. That's how it happens. Hayden Verbeek was an overager signed from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. He's got some speed. He's got some tenacity. He's quick, and he likes to go to the front of the net. He could be one of those guys that takes off in the AHL, or like I said, he could get lost up in it and doesn't transition well because he's not the biggest guy in the world, and the AHL is a lot more physical than the OHL was. Jack Gorniak, speedy, toolsy winger, played some center, plays wing. He's going to the University of Wisconsin. He's part of that rebuilding team with Keandre Miller, who was a Rangers draft pick this year, I believe. Be interesting to keep an eye on him. Freshman year of college, it's hard to rank a guy that you haven't seen play a ton. Samuel Hood, injured, didn't play in the rookie tournament. Numbers in the QMJHL aren't all that exciting in the first place, so yeah. Brett Stapley played in the BCHL and is headed to, I don't actually know what college off the top of my head, unfortunately, but again, a wild card. If he turns out, great. If he doesn't, oh well. Nicholas Koberstein, last I knew, I wasn't sure if his college program was even keeping the hockey program. That was up in the air last year, I think. Nothing's been said otherwise, so here's that. Arvid Henriksen, he played in the SHL for about 2 minutes and ruined his ability to come over and play in American University because he got paid for 2 minutes of ice time and the NCAA sucks. He's in the USHL this year. He's playing for the Buccaneers, I believe. He's gigantic, like really, really big. He's 6'7". If something comes of it, cool. If not, he was a 7th round pick. And now a bunch of guys who are on AHL contracts. Nikita Jevpalovs, Latvian winger, played for Bouchard in the QMJHL, had a massive season, and then went on to struggle in the Shark system for a little while, went to the KHL. He's basically a depth guy, and again, a wild card ticket. Felix Martineau, the gritty physical winger from the Q, depth guy, ECHL edition. TJ Melanson, I keep saying Con because it's a C but not an S. He looked decent at the rookie tournament. He might be one of those guys who's filling in the AHL more often than not, depending on lineup additions. He's got ties to Joel Bouchard. I know it's shocking. And then Morgan Adams-Mozan. Everyone might know him as the guy who got thrown out for boarding Jeremy Bracco at the rookie tournament after Jarrett Tishka was knocked out. And I'm reading this, and I realized I forgot someone. I forgot Antoine Waked, and he would go somewhere like here, I think. But I kind of forgot him because he had 11 points in his entire rookie season, I think. So that is my prospect pyramid. I know everyone's got their different ways of viewing things. Anyone who followed the top 25, under 25 at Eyes on the Prize knows how I kind of analyze things. As always, sound off in the comments. On Twitter, I am at Scott Matla on Twitter. You can send me your own if you have any sort of critiques or want to have a discussion about anything. I'm more than happy to engage in that. You can follow Habs Eyes on the Prize on Twitter at HabsEOTP. Habsent Minded is recording tonight our podcast at Habsent_Minded on Twitter. And as always, have a good day. Summer's almost over and hockey starts soon, folks. Go Habs, go.